Brian Kalk is here. Brian is the Director of Energy Systems Development for the Energy and Environmental Research Center. So listen, we talked about those 7 goals this summer that the Energy and Environmental Research Center had come up with to energize North Dakota. We thought today might be a good idea to update how some of those are coming along, and you want to highlight one of the goals today, right?
Absolutely. We're going to talk about one of our goals was try to maximize the ag and energy nexus, and that's kind of what we're going to hope to talk about as a backdrop today, if that works out okay for you and the team.
Absolutely. So ag and energy, 2 incredibly important pillars to North Dakota's economy. Tell us a little bit about what EERC is doing in that area.
Sure. Well, as you pointed out, one of the big things in North Dakota is gargantuan ag producer, and we become a world player in the energy field. And we start thinking about ways to tie these 2 industries together. There's the long history of the ethanol use in North Dakota and some of those other areas. But one of the things that we're trying to do up here is there's been work that's been done before. The EERC was the first place to develop a renewable jet fuel. So, back years ago when people didn't think there was enough oil to go around, there was a lot of time and money spent in research that, tried to maximize this area. But for many years, it didn't really happen. And so we're trying to kind of rekindle those again. And one of the projects that the EERC is working on with North American Coal and some others is basically looking at taking CO2 from a coal plant and developing it into a greenhouse scenario. And North Dakota State is doing some of the work on the plant side and basically trying to see if we can grow fruits and vegetables in North Dakota throughout the winter. And actually, even some of the work that North Dakota State is doing is trying to figure out the right amount of CO2 for plants to take for growth. And so it's an area that maybe there's been some work done on it before, but nobody's ever put this level of detail into it. So we're very excited. The next year, this project is actually going to kick off and continue throughout the probably 18 months and see where that goes. So that's one of those, the marketplace, the small-scale producers might be a good niche, but it's one of the areas we're pretty excited about.
And how, what needs to come together to first of all, you're right, that's exciting. That's a good example of a perfect synergy between ag and energy, and something can happen. Give me some sense of what needs to come together to have some of the important tenets of that come to fruition.
Sure, of course. We need, one of the coal producers, one of the power plants has the ability to CO2, which is there. One of the farmers, Nor Farms, is actually offered up to use some of their property. So basically have to get a greenhouse built and figure out the right scaling of it to bring the CO2 into the greenhouse, figure out what variety of plant growth you want to have, and then figure out the different levels of CO2 that you want in there. You get too much CO2 in an area, that can actually be hazardous to someone's health. So trying to find all those right balances, and then once you get the system set into place, adjust the variables, adjust the amount of CO2, adjust some other things in play, and try to get that max amount for growth. And then I believe that they feel strongly that the market side is going to be there. But that's one of the challenges that I've really learned in the last year is that you got some folks that do research just to do research, and one of the things the EERC has always prided itself on is applied research, something that actually can be brought into production to actually make somebody some money or comply with some type of rulings or regulations. But I think the tenets are all there. Now it's just a matter of fact to see if we can tie it all together and then scale it up.
Beautiful. It really is. Keep up the good work, and appreciate the work you are doing there, Brian. Always appreciate the updates we get from EERC. So many great things happening at the Energy and Environmental Research Center on the campus of UND, and now of these new 7 tenants that we're keeping tabs on. To have one on ag and energy roaring into 2018 is just fabulous. Thanks for the update.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us on, Scott.
Good to talk to you, Brian.